Hi, it's Marco from Moose Marketing and PR, I'm the editor of Punchline magazine, and welcome to Punchline Talks. Today I'm joined by David Jones, the managing director of Evans Jones. Welcome, David, to Punchline Talks. Really great to see you again. You seem to be stuck in a bathroom there.
Well, welcome, Mark. Thank you for those kind words. I think the last one of these we did, I was in a cell. So I've worked my way out of my cell into my bathroom. So there we are. I worked my way around the house.
Well, congratulations for that. But the big thing, the big story bubbling for you guys this year is that, Evans Jones themselves are approaching the 50th year in business. We've just gone through a massive global pandemic. The reason I wanted to touch base with you today was what you've seen and how you feel and see the office space,
Sure.
moving forward. I mean, I'm looking at my fire station thinking, what should I do? Should I keep it? Should I move? What's happening in the environment that you guys work in the planning stages?
Okay, well, yeah, I think that's a very apt question. And I think quite a good point to ask that question. Probably if you'd asked me 3 or 4 months ago, I'd have said, well, look, it's still too early. We don't quite know. But now we are actually seeing how businesses are responding to it. And, I'm really pleased to say that businesses are responding really proactively. And I think it's important they do, because we don't quite know what is around the corner, what's up and coming. So those businesses, I think, that do prepare well now will be very well placed for whatever the world throws at us in the future. So, to talk about sort of specifics without naming sort of business names, I'm seeing companies reformat what they have got, because they have, now realised that, perhaps a call centre type office environment isn't going to work going forward. And with a blended working arrangement, people need a nice working environment. They need space. They need, perhaps small informal meeting rooms, breakout spaces. So, we are advising companies at the moment on how they achieve that. And that is actually generating a requirement for more office space, which may sound, contradictory from what others are saying. Office space will decline, and it is going to be different in every town and city. But certainly, what I'm seeing, within the areas that we're working in, is a requirement for a different office, most certainly, but one that is expanded, but probably not taking an extra, head count. So, and that has all sorts of, ramifications in terms of rental figures, because, it's head count that generates profit, it generates, turnover. And if you do need a bigger building to accommodate the same turnover, but in a better environment, then, are you going to be paying the same for that office space to your landlord? So, I think some of those things still need to be worked through, but certainly those who are proactively, addressing it, are very much taking the bull by the horns and adjusting their offices accordingly. As a sort of alternative to that, I'm also seeing, within sort of semi-rural areas, some really interesting brand new concepts where I have a client who is looking to create a sort of home working hub, but away from the home. So it's built on a sort of farming a sort of landscape, and create, easy in, easy out facilities, fast internet connection, close to where people live. So where, I think we have found that a lot of people don't have the homes that are suited for home working. Working on your bed isn't necessarily the most efficient. You might have children, or dogs or whatever, screaming, barking in the background. So it's trying to bridge that gap between, a traditional town centre, city centre office, and, a need to work perhaps slightly away from the home. So that's a really exciting application that we're about to submit, actually. Now, the difficulty with that is that there's no policy for it, because we're in completely new territory here. So, we're asking of the decision makers to be imaginative, to address what has happened in the last 12 months and to make decisions so we are prepared for the future, which is always quite an ask, really, because everything is so policy driven. You know, if the computer says no, it doesn't fit the policy, you can't have it. So, you know, we're working hard to sell that concept, and certainly the promoter and landowner behind it is absolutely committed to providing that sort of home work environment in a semi-rural location. So really exciting stuff.
And I've heard through the grapevine, maybe it's you that told me before, but some of these places are looking to make them actually more like home anyway. So you might be in the office, but it actually has a home working feel to it.
Oh, completely. And yeah, and we've done that with our own office. You know, we had, you know, quite a traditional setup with a, you know, reception desk and, you know, receptionist and everything else. Now we've created, you know, breakout spaces, you know, little circular tables with 4 chairs around them, you know, coffee making facilities, you know, pastries, all of that. And I think it is sort of bridging that gap. And I think it's something we've seen with people home working. You know, there's quite a few negatives with home working, but people have also liked, you know, the more relaxed way that they can work, and I think that needs to be brought into the office. And you know, those who do adapt and change in that way, I think will reap rewards.
Are you also seeing the fact that maybe local, if we're all working from home or not working from home, that maybe we might have more smaller cafes and restaurants actually opening up, you know, more in the sort of towns and villages that we used to have, rather than in the big city centres?
Yeah, I think we are seeing a resurgence in you know, small convenience stores, both in city centres and in smaller towns and villages. So, I mean, I think, you know, probably a little bit early to see whether that's going to be a permanent change, but I think it would be a real positive if it were. You know, a lot of, you know, smaller shops in towns and villages have suffered, but, you know, I think certainly from the inquiries that I'm getting, certainly smaller convenience stores are in the ascendance at the moment. So, you know, it's one of the retail stories that is actually quite positive, and where we are seeing, you know, growth in that you know, fairly beleaguered retail environment.
David, always fascinating to talk to you and get the pulse of what's going on. Thank you very much for joining Punchline Talks today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Mark.